I'm going to kind of wait till I see that it's going live on Substack before I go to the next
Welcome in,
scene.
everybody. Welcome in, Barbara. Just about ready to go live. Like a little live webinar.
That's right. All right. I think we're ready, Chris.
All right, let's rock.
All right. Welcome, everyone, to a special live webinar. This is the first time, I think, Chris, that we've done a webinar. We're using StreamYard on air because we wanted to kind of test it out, and pretty impressed with how easy it was for us to set up. We got people to pre-subscribe for the webinar, and so I think we got their email addresses, right? Because I know we did it with your account. So that's a great way to kind of build your list up. And then we're actually live right now on Substack. And so what I'm going to do, we'll see how this works, is I'm going to share the link in the chat if anybody wants to check out the Substack experience. And so I guess, Chris, right? One of the first questions people might have is like, why go live on Substack? Well, I think for me, it all started when Facebook started, as I like to say, because we're not live on Facebook, their shenanigans.
Facebook was Facebooking.
Yes, Facebook was Facebooking, or Meta was Metaing, whatever you want to call it. I didn't like the fact that first it started with people that we know that had these huge communities, Facebook groups. They're like, you can't use tools like StreamYard, Ecamm, with all their features, the ability to share comments to screen anymore. Now you have to go in and do RTMP, which we're doing to go live to Substack. But the catch was, for a lot of these people, it was like overwhelming because it wasn't like a persistent stream key and trying to find it in your Facebook dashboard and do all these other things. So I think some people just gave up, or that maybe they just started doing recorded video. Then I guess it's been a couple months now. I think this was the, as I like to call it, the nail in the coffin, so to speak, was, hey, folks, after 30 days, we're deleting your lives. And oh, by the way, all those lives you've done throughout your life, we're going to delete those too. But we're going to give you some time to download them. But when you think of it from a live streaming perspective, Chris, and, we've been doing this, I mean, hard to believe, coming up on 5 years that we've been doing Dealcasters. For us to have to go back to 5 years of Facebook live videos just to put them back up in some way, shape, or form, and lose all the, the comments from before, it's like, why even do it?
Well, I think to your point, Jim, on Facebook and transitioning to why Substack is, when we created those live videos, we would go live on 5 different places, sometimes 6 different places. One of them was a YouTube channel unlisted. So all the time, every single live video that we did, went up to our YouTube channel and was available for us to download. Of course, platforms like we're using today, StreamYard, Ecamm Live, which we also use, Restream, all these platforms allow you to download that content yourself, which you should be storing on your own local hard drives anyway. That's content you own and you could take and repurpose. So, the rented land of Facebook really never had a great place for you to go and watch replays of live streams. You had to hunt it down and go into the events and hope you had the other link. And it just was a clunky experience, I think, for a lot of people. And so, because of that, Facebook wasn't seeing a lot of replays of all of these live videos. And so they're like, why are we storing these bloated hard drives, all this live video content, which is why they were doing it. So all of us need to be really careful about what we do with our content. Make sure you own it somewhere on a hard drive. I mean, local hard drive space is more affordable than ever. But I love the fact that Substack, not just allows you to go live with your content, but to actually take it and craft it in such a way with the writing around it in order to deliver it specifically to particular people. It isn't just a throw your content over the fence and hope somebody lands with it. It is actually a great way to build community. And I know, Jim, you have been really, you've leaned into this a lot harder than I have. Our Dealcasters page is not as robust as the one that you've built. And I know we've been a part of some other folks' journeys as well on Substack. So I'm excited to kind of learn as you go through this as well. So excited to chop it up, as you would.
Yeah, and I think you bring up a great point, and I had I'll name names. Our friend Jeff C, who's got a great show over on YouTube, Creator News Live. He's like, well, why would I want to come over to Substack as a live streamer? I'd say even as a podcaster. Well, one, because you can. It's another place to put your content, as we like to say. I mean, but here's where you get a couple of, I'll call it, bonuses that you don't get on maybe, as we like to say, the other tubes. One, when people subscribe to you, like Doug Lehman, who's watching, and hello to Jim Banks, and these are folks over on Substack, which right now, because we're using RTMP, we can't share their comments, but there are some workarounds with some other platforms like Ecamm that our friend Tanya Smith has shown. But you still, right? I'm acknowledging them. They are part of the show. They're seeing this. But with the YouTube, a lot of times what you're attempting to do, because it is like, a giant search engine, is everything you're doing is written to their algorithm. The title of your video is supposed to be part of the first 200 characters of your description. And you're really more writing like bullets, right? Because people don't necessarily read YouTube. I think if that's a fair statement. But now what we're able to do with Substack, and Chris has been doing this with our Dealcasters show, is after the show is done, which we are multi-streaming to Substack, and guess what? We're at 1080. We're not having to, throttle down to 720 like you do on Amazon.
Yep.
We're basically writing a summary, if you want, of here's what happened during the show. And you can speak it in your language. It's not like you're trying to sit there like, oh, I got to do this and do that and trick this and trick that. Put it in your own voice.
Right.
And if people want to watch it, they can watch it. But you're able to summarize everything in a very precise manner. I love the one you did today where you took one of your product reviews of the Zoom. Was it the P2?
Yep, PodTrack P2.
Yeah, and you kind of said, hey, this is what I thought. You wouldn't have done that in YouTube, right? In YouTube, it's kind of like, here it is. I got to kind of go watch it if they want to see what it's all about, and we got, hey, Phil Hill, great to see you joining us as well.
We do have a question for Barbara. I know you had posted the link, and she's here watching on the webinar. In order to view the Substack live, Jim, is there a link that we need to provide to Barbara?
And she clicked it, and she's actually over there as maybe she's in both places. So good job, Barbara. Sorry we didn't catch that.
More places you can catch us, the better, Barbara. So
that's right.
Glad we got
but we wanted you to get that experience. So that to me is part of it. And so the first thing, right? And of course, you're going to probably laugh, Chris, but guess who told me about live video on Substack first? Is the same guy.
Phil Hill?
No.
Okay.
The same guy that told us about Amazon. Ross Brand. Had started going live on Substack. But at the time when it first started, you were actually having to use the Substack app, which is on your phone, and I think initially it's vertical video. Now, I will say the one nice thing about the app, you can switch front to back. So if you're out and about and you wanted to go live, you can see people's comments. It kind of reminds me of the old Facebook Live when people would go live on, I guess even with Instagram, when people go live from their device, right? You can see it, you can switch the camera around, but it's not taking things to like the level like we are here, where we're actually able to do a production and really create a show. And so I guess it's been about maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, I found out, I think it was either Tanya or James Hicks. They were going live on Substack using Ecamm. I'm like, well, how did they do that? And it was
James did. Yeah, Steve Worthy and James Hicks, went live, and Tanya joined them. I've joined them when they've done it as well. I think the other thing too, Jim, is I think a lot of people that are here right now, whether it's Barbara or Phil, Doug, others that are sort of watching, I think they're already interested in getting it. I think what people might not know is the significant advantages of it and the different sort of crowd that's there. So yes, we have Dealcasters on it, and we're putting our show that we do on all of the other places, our podcast, on this. And you can integrate your podcast into Substack as well. You could take your RSS feed for your audio podcast, put it in there. The advantage of doing this is taking your content and then amplifying it in this place. And so you talked about it with the Zoom PodTrack P2 and the content that I put associated with it. I would never have put that content in YouTube. Like when you go to YouTube, you're going to watch a video, and then really the show notes or whatever's underneath it is like, the link that is the link that's supposed to
that you hope somebody clicks.
That you hope somebody clicks, right? These are the things we talked about. Here's how you connect with the guest, things like that. And then, you're putting some of that content hoping to be found. On Substack, it's like you can be a little bit more verbose. I wouldn't get too fluffy, but it is inherently a writing platform, a reading and writing platform. There's tons of, great authors and things like that. So, I wouldn't show up and do TikTok-oriented videos on this platform, right? So, but it will allow you, if you're doing content that is maybe more flashy, to go, okay, well, if somebody really wants to lean in and subscribe and pay me for more in-depth experiences, this is the platform that allows you to do it. And I think that's what really interests me. As being a super fan of the Detroit Lions, I follow Justin Rogers, who's a beat writer on Substack, and subscribe to his content because I know I'm getting insider access there, and I'm getting information before it actually hits. And he's doing special sort of one-on-one conversations with people that are involved with the organization that you don't see anywhere else. And this is a way for you. I mean, a lot of people do Patreon, buy me a coffee, things like that. And, those are great opportunities. But I think with Substack, you really have an opportunity to build and say, hey, if somebody's going to pay me $5, somebody's going to pay me $10, somebody's going to subscribe for $50 or whatever, I can really build out a stack of content and make that available. And maybe it's a special live stream for somebody, a Q&A, ask me anything, like those kinds of things you can wrap into, pay me a little bit extra. These are just for the subscribers, right? These are just for the people that are doing that.
Right. Yeah. And I saw we had a couple questions. Jim Banks is watching us from England, but it's getting a little late. He's going to probably catch the replay, because what will happen is with this Substack live, I mean, I know this is also in StreamYard for those of you that registered with the webinar, you'll get the replay. But to your question specifically, Rose, if you click the Substack link, it's going to open up the video live on Substack, and you can then leave comments that I will see. We just can't share them to the screen. So I'm seeing everyone that's joining. I saw Barb was over there earlier, and so you basically are just typing in on the comments. I suppose I could.
Barbara's got a good. Barbara's got a really good thing, and I think it plays into what we're talking here. Barbara asks, don't you have to grow your own crowd there? Aren't they subscribers to your newsletter? I really need to learn more about Substack and the why be there.
Yeah, so I look at it a couple ways. You're absolutely right, Barbara. You're growing your audience on Substack. So part of it, to me, even like I just did a LinkedIn newsletter telling people about this, giving them a link to this, is it's kind of like, come on over, because when they subscribe to you, you're getting their email address, right? You're not getting your email address when you join, or people's emails address when on Facebook groups, on LinkedIn. I mean, LinkedIn sends out the email for your newsletter. It's not you. So even though I've got over 1,000 newsletter subscribers, I don't have their emails.
That's right.
So this is where now you're owning your audience. This is what everybody's always talking about. Like, hey, build your email list. Substack's letting you do that. You can export it if you want to put it in one of these like Kit or whatever you might use to do that. Because the people are basically opting in, like, yes, I want more. So yes, they are subscribing to it's your Substack. I mean, you could say it's your newsletter, but anytime you create content, like even this live stream, when I published it, or when we went live, I asked it, and I'm going to go through kind of the steps here in a little bit, to my, I think it's now 111 subscribers, to say that I'm live on Substack, talking about how to go live on Substack. If they click the little button in the email they get, it's going to bring them right into here. And we've got 5 people right now watching live on Substack, which I think is great. And so that's part of it. The thing that I also like, though, is that when we're done with this live, on the Substack side of things, it goes into what we call a drafts folder. So the video isn't automatically on your Substack site, so you could say, you know what, I don't want to make that part of my content. It was kind of like you caught it while you caught it. If you want it, and they'll actually create clips for you. We haven't played with those yet, but they create clips out of your video.
Them, but I guess I'm probably the wrong person. Like, if you don't do clips, or you don't, and you need them, you're going to get a clip, and it's going to be however you recorded it, if it's vertical or wide, and it's going to be what they selected, what they think was the right moments, and you're going to get a caption on there. There's not a lot of play. You don't have a lot of play with editing how that clip, necessarily looks. But I mean, it was a nice, like, oh, hey, they're giving us clips. But you know how I am. I like make my own clips. I wouldn't say it's bad, but it's better than nothing. And so you may like some of those clips. And I think that's a great point, Jim, is like, when your live stream is over, there's no replay on Substack. You determine when you want to do that, the post about that, and your replay can be associated with that post. So, for instance, we interviewed Aaron Lebax of High Value Writing, and when that show was over, it basically said, "Hey, your Substack, your live show is in drafts," and so then you go in and you write something, a blog post, so to speak, or something that would adds value to that particular live stream. Give it titles, give it a summary, give it like something that is valuable, and then you post it, and your subscribers get it. The one thing I really love about this is, as creators, which everyone here that's watching they're creating some sort of content on social media or YouTube or whatever. This allows you to think about it strategically in how you want to serve your audience. Like, you've got people that are super fans, and every time you're posting something, they're liking, they're reposting, they're doing all the things, they're chiming in. You support each other. Those are people that are your super fans, your community. And so they're in this bucket, right? And then you've got the people that are just drive-bys, right? And so those are the followers, right? They're probably never going to pay anything. They're just going to take whatever you're giving them and be able to use it. You'll probably maybe even never hear from them. But then you can kind of tier it and go, okay, well, what can I give these super fans? And then maybe there's a middle ground. What can I give these people? And then you can associate your own charges for that. And I think that's a smart way, even if you don't have that many people yet. I think it's a smart way to, as you're putting this thing together, put a frame around that, and you can adjust on the fly as far as that's concerned. Those people that were there for you at the beginning, your ride or dies that were there from the very onset, like, you can, give them as much as you can give them, because they're there for you now. You want them to stay, right? And so, and then you have these other tiers, and then you kind of adjust things on the fly. But as creators, wanting to monetize, this is a way to do it without 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours on YouTube, right?
Right. And how many people actually have monetized on LinkedIn or Facebook, or if they have, it's taken a lot of work for very little. And so I think that's the other piece of this. Like, if you already had a community and you're struggling and you want video to be a part of it, that's why I think you want to consider this. I mean, it is originally built as I'll call it, if you want to, for lack of a better term, a blogging / newsletter type site, but they've seen I guess I think wisdom in like, hey, let's allow video to be a part of this.
Mm-hmm.
There's some people that don't like the video piece. They're like, oh, not on my lawn sort of thing. But I would also say, right, I do both. I write some articles, I use some video. I like the fact that even if you're writing a post, you could insert a recorded video, right?
Yep.
You might want to, it's that extra step sometimes to maybe explain something quickly to someone in a visual aspect. So I think that's another really great feature about it. But when we see that it has all these niches, whatever you want to call it, that one, because we're all in this Substack, right? You start to see things based on your interest. So now people might say, oh, well, these guys are talking about technology. I want to check that out. And now you start to get followers and subscribers. And then to Chris's point, right? You can have subscribers that are free, or you can have subscribers that are part of your paid community. And so that's where they can do it monthly. They can do it, annually. You can create a founding members thing. But one of the things that I found that you can do, which is maybe something people would consider, is, as an example, you could use Zoom. I mean, you could use StreamYard for that matter, to only your paid subscribers. And so they get notified, hey, I'm having this paid subscriber thing. They could either join, right? You give them the link to join as a guest, or if they miss it, same thing. You post this as only available to your paid subscribers. They get a summary of what was talked about. And so it's giving you that ability to do some gating of your content. And you can decide, and Mitch Jackson's doing an amazing job on Substack, and he's got a paid Substack, and he'll every once in a while, like, hey, I'm opening up this stuff free for a few days so you can see some of my paid content. So you have that ability as well to kind of
open and close the gate, so to speak. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. I didn't know about that. See, I'm learning too on the fly. Speaking of learning on the fly, Phil Hill has a question. I'm not super familiar with School, but I know it's very similar to Substack in terms of if you're curious about something, whether it's podcasting or Amazon influencer or whatever, there's communities that are being built on School as well. Jim, are you familiar at all with School, spelled SKOOL?
I am familiar with it. I feel like it's almost like more of a circle or heartbeat, or we'll call it old Facebook groups, in that it's like, hey, you pay to, and I don't think they're all necessarily paid, but I know you have to pay to have one.
Okay.
Yeah. So you create your school, and then it's like, okay, you want to be a part of my school, it's subscription based thing. And so I think that's part of what Substack is allowing you to do, is have a way to monetize. And I think I think Rose has a question as well.
Barbara's familiar with School. Rose wants to know, are people primarily using Substack's video for growing their audience or for purposes of monetizing?
I would probably say it's a little of both. And I say that because, sure, I'd love to have people subscribe, and be paid subscribers. But I also, I just want to grow the community, because if they're interested in what I'm saying, I think it's that building that know, like, and trust. It's no different than for us with Dealcasters. If we started to get some subscribers over on Dealcasters that want to be part of our, if you want to call it paid tier, well, then we start saying, well, hey, we got all these people. We're going to give them, extra value that the free people don't get. That's what I think the difference is. If you're going to do paid, you've got to offer value. You can't just say, oh, well, they're just paying me, I'm not going to give them anything.
And don't just take whatever content you're putting somewhere else and stick it in here, because that's not the right way of doing it. I would add, this is growing the right audience, growing the audience you really want. So we go live on YouTube, and you get, or Amazon's another great example. You go live on Amazon on Prime Day, how many people are driving by your content, and you're getting all these impressions and all these views, but are they really your people, right? And I said, you know, so this is a way for you to kind of say, okay, this is my card table in the internet with, you know, and in the flea market of the internet, this is where my people are going to be, and I can communicate with them. You know, and certainly those that are, and I'm sure there are people that are using this as a way to try to poach, right? Try to get people on your newsletter, you know, try to do all of that kind of stuff. I would say one limitation, and we should probably go into the more functionality components of this, Jim, too, is you should also know that when they are subscribing to you on Substack, one of the things you don't get is a first and last name. So when somebody subscribes to the Dealcasters Substack, we're going to have an email address that we can use. And every time we're creating something in Substack, it emails you automatically from the platform. We're able to use your email as well, but we won't have Rose Horowitz as, you know, as someone. It will just be Rose's email address. So that's one maybe con to the whole thing. So like when you're sending in, if you port these email addresses into your MailChimp or a Kit or whatever you're using for your email program, and we want to use Dear first name, right? We don't have one. We just have an email address.
Right. That's right. So you might say something like, you know, hey, Substacker or whatever, come up with some, you know, term for your group. But yes, I think that's, and I see Rose had another question about, I think, or Barbara did, right? Did we research the infrastructure? I think it will be around for more than 2 years. It's actually been around since 2017. It's finally, you know, I think part of the reason it's catching on is because I think people are frustrated with the other tubes and how things are doing. I really haven't seen, and you can take it as good or bad, a lot of like say throttling based on people's content type. You know, nobody's sitting there saying, "Oh, you can't talk about that." I mean, I'm sure there'll some point be some sort of more enforced community standards, and there might be, but I'm not. It's kind of like, it reminds me of the old Twitter days where the people that I'm around are the kind of people I want to be around. The people that are, to your point, Chris, the people that are looking at our content are interested in our content, not in the fact like, oh, well, how many, you know, likes and views do you got? I don't think that's really become a thing yet. And so I think it's more the fact that it's not about how fast you can grow, it's how smart you can grow. Because I think if you had, you know, if you think of it from a Pat Flynn standpoint, and you kind of hit on it, if I have, you know, 20, you know, super fans that are willing to be subscribers, well, that makes it worth my time to come out here, right? I'm not looking to try to become a millionaire off of Substack. I mean, I wouldn't complain, but that's never been the intent. The intent is like, hey, if I'm going to put out content, if I want to grow a community, this is kind of one of those things like, hey, are people willing? Think of it this way: are people willing to pay for your content? If they are, now you know you're onto something.
And for like my point earlier, as creators, if we know people are paying for it, what do? You work even more harder than you already are at creating more value, because now, you know, when there's an exchange of money for it, it should inspire you to try a little harder. I think Barbara's got a good point here about the first and last name. So, if you're wanting to foster community, and Jim and I kind of talked a little bit about this. Will that change in the future? I certainly hope so, but I don't know. I don't know if it can or not. Maybe you give it an option to include it when they subscribe. And maybe depending on your community, Barbara, and whoever is listening, is asking for it. And I know that feels a little weird, right? But if this is really a community that we want to share, it's like, hey, I'm really happy that you joined my Substack, and that's fantastic. Substack doesn't allow me to use your first name or your last name. if you'd love to share it with me, I'd love to refer to you as your first name, you know, or you know, maybe send an email to everyone that's on your Substack from your email list to kind of say, hey, you know, here's a way for maybe us to be closer as a community. I'd love to know everyone's names. We're not going to use it for anything, you know, weird. I just rather refer to you as Barbara, you know, or as Jim, as whomever, as opposed to dear, you know, barbara.tomlin@gmail, you know, or whatever. So I don't know.
And there are some things that we'll get into, Chris, that might even let people kind of understand. Because like even right now, all these people that are watching us on Substack in the live chat, I'm seeing their names, right? So I know that, you know, Barbara was out there, Jim Banks, you know, Doug Lehman. So I'm seeing that because they're in Substack. So it's not like it's, you know, Facebook user. You know, it's not letting you be anonymous, which I think is a good thing. But let's go ahead and, because I know we want to kind of cover some other things. I'm going to show you guys a quick video that I did that will show you how you go live on Substack. Now, this is a StreamYard example, but this works with any live streaming tool that allows you to add custom RTMP. So if I think I know how to do this, Chris kind of taught me.
Just go to the next scene.
Yes.
And
so this is the video that I did. And so in StreamYard, you'd add the destination. Now over here, this is what the home looks like in Substack. And you're going to click your dashboard, and then where new post is, you're going to go new live stream. You give it a title, and you'll see you can go, this is for everyone, your subscribers only, or paid subscribers only. And then you say who's going live. In my case, it was me. And you'll see there's a checkbox, notify them by email when I go live. So then we're going to go ahead and generate that stream key. So we're going to copy the stream URL into StreamYard under the first line, and then we're going to copy the stream key. Just like Instagram, though, the stream key changes for every live stream. So you'll have to edit your stream key for each one, and then of course, you know, give it a name so you remember what it was. And now you've added that destination into to StreamYard, and so when you hit go live, it'll then start to go live into Substack, and you're ready to go. Once you go live too, it will give you a link, and you guys that have jumped over from the StreamYard webinar on air to over to Substack, that was the link that it created for me. I couldn't do it in this demo because I would have had to actually go live. And so you can see up there, I've added the site ready to go if I hit the go live button. So it's really, I think, you know, pretty easy to do, you know, and then, but you have to get, and I think we'll go back to here. You got to remember there's a couple things right now with Substack to go live at all, like with the app, you got to have at least 10 subscribers. And then I had about 60 subscribers and it's kind of like a beta thing. You request through their support, like, hey, I'd like to get the RTMP feature. And then they just enable it for your account, and you'll see it in your dashboard. You can only do it right now, right? Like we're doing it through an actual, you know, desktop sort of thing. It's not something that you could do in your phone, which I don't know why you'd want to do that anyway. And then, of course, because right now it is RTMP, you know, there is not an API built in to tie into some of these other apps. You're not able to share comments, but I usually open up another window where I can see the comments, so we can have that conversation with the folks that are watching. So that's kind of step one. And now, Chris, do you want to kind of share
what I want to do is I want to circle back on that, because first of all, those that are that have registered for the webinar, you'll be able to watch this on replay. So that was a quick and dirty demo for sure. And those that are watching on Substack, we will post this as well after the fact, so you'll be able to watch that as well. But here's something: not everybody knows what RTMP is, and they may not use StreamYard. So basically what RTMP allows you to do, and Phil Hill, you're an Amazon influencer, so you understand how RTMP works. It basically says, here's a third-party app, in this case Substack, but also like Amazon, and we're going to take the credentials, the key, right, and allow you to come onto our platform. But in order to do that, we need to give you the keys so you can insert it in your platform. So like in StreamYard, you gave that example. It's two things. It's a stream URL and it's a stream key. So those two things you get from Substack once you get approved to go live, and then you just paste it in wherever your platform is. So if you use Restream, there's a spot for you to be able to do it. If you use EVMux, there's a spot for you to be able to do it. If you use Ecamm Live, there's another spot for you to be able to. You just set it up as a destination, and the acronym is RTMP. I'm not even sure what it stands for, but that's the acronym, and you should be able to paste in each one of those things. The other key that I want to make sure that everybody realizes, it's a little bit of trouble, but every time you go live, it changes the key. So you can't just save your stream key and say, okay, that's going to work for next time, because it won't. It changes every time. And for those who have used third-party software on Instagram, like Jim had mentioned, you are familiar with that process. And so like Phil Hill, it's different than Amazon in that respect only, in that every time you got to go into Substack and get a new stream key and then put it into whatever your streaming software is. I'm sorry, Jim. Go ahead, man.
No, I think that's right on the money. I know we've got some questions about the community piece. So I've shared in my in the down there, Chris. I'll let you figure it out. I did a screen share. So this is kind of, I wanted to do a little bit of a. So this is what. Yeah, that was the video, but I wanted to show the actual. The screen share, so we can give them the. Yeah. So because people were asking about how you can communicate. So this is what me looking at Substack as a user experience on desktop looks like. So you can see you've got all these tabs. So following, these are the people I'm following. I see their notes. We call them notes. Think of notes as your Facebook feed, your LinkedIn feed, whatever. You can go home is kind of where you get some discovery.
Looks like Jim is frozen.
And so
there we go.
There we go. Oh, yeah. So I hit the like, and then this is what they do here is called restack. So you can restack it or restack it with a note. So think of it as sharing with comment. And so I'll just go ahead and hit restack. So now that's in the notes feed. We have what's called a chat feature. So what's nice about this is if you have a Substack, I've got one for my page. And so this is going back to kind of the question, like I ask people, what keeps you from creating videos for your business? They can reply and I can get their names. I can reply back to them. So you kind of starting to have this conversation inside a Substack. You can also direct message, so everyone's seeing the chat.
See, I want to let's put a pin in this, because this is where I mentioned the Detroit Lions guy that I subscribe to on it. So when he's about to do an interview with a player, or when he's about to go live, or when he needs questions to ask people. Maybe you're a podcaster and you want to know, like, hey, I'm interviewing Jim Fuhs next week. Please let me know if you've got any questions you want me to ask. So this is great just for your community, and this is like really great for your super fans, like the people that are with you, your ride or dies, and they're into your content, they're fans of your content, you're involving them. Hey, next week I'm talking to Jeff C., and do you have any questions about creating AI images, either on Midjourney or on the new ChatGPT thing? That could spark a conversation. Then you're like, I know I'm serving my community because I'm serving my biggest fans. And that's, more, you want more of those people, you're actually using that content from them. I think this is a fantastic function of Substack.
And it's also, right, this is a way for you to think about what kind of content do I want to create based on the replies.
Yeah.
The other thing you can do, and I'm going to do this in kind of a roundabout way, so I'm going to go one of our favorite creators, Tanya Smith. You can direct message people, right? So I can go in there, right? You can see we've messaged people before and just say, I'm just going to say, giving you a shout out.
Live shout out.
A live shout out.
Name one other person besides Jim that's done a live shout out on a webinar.
Yeah, on Substack. And so she's going to get that message, and that's just between us. So, kind of going back to, the email thing isn't ideal right now, but I am able to communicate first and last name with people. They know who I am. You also get notifications. So in the notifications, I can see, as an example, Jim Banks is restacked the note that I did earlier on Substack about this. I can also see who's live that I'm following. I can watch now. Zach from Substack is having a live on the 17th, and you can add it to your calendar. So there's another way.
Wait, the guy from Substack is named Zach?
Yes.
Wow, that's some Dr. Seuss action right there. That's I like that. Zach from Substack.
So you can, so that's you can see some of that stuff, and then these are, I think, my subscriptions, right? These are people, and you can see, right, I pay for this one, and so you kind of get that history as well. So that's kind of the, this is what you're seeing as we'll call it even a follower, right? This is someone that you're not in your Substack at the moment. That sort of thing.
Can you show Tanya's her profile? Because I think that's another thing too for everybody, that this was something I was today years old when I learned, is that your profile, you can really kind of turn into your own little website. Right. So we haven't really done this yet because, again, I was today years old when I figured out this is in Substack. This is what Tanya did on her Substack. So it's like, I mean, if that doesn't look like a nice looking website, I don't know what this was, and so you can, and they give you like different styles that you can use, and it basically organizes your content and how you want it organized. The other thing too is recommendations. So when we needed subscribers, and Tanya's like, well, I'm going to put you as one of my recommendations here, and lo and behold, we got a bunch of followers and subscribers from that. So that's another way, like, connect with other people on the platform, connect with people that you already know. And, and those of you who are on this webinar or watching on Substack, please communicate with us. Let us know so we can recommend your content. We want to be able to kind of, rise the tide on this for sure. And sort of help each other, creator to creator on this other stuff. I think that's another way. I love, obviously, branding is a lot of her thing. But when I saw that, I was like, okay, we have to figure out how to do this. This is definitely a great way of branding yourself on the platform.
And even as an example here, one of the things she's done, and with a tab, is, I want to say it's this one. This is actually her website, like her real website. It's just she made it a tab inside of. Oh wait, I have to share this tab instead. This is her website, right? So that's one of the tabs in Substack. And so if I go back to the Substack, so it's opening in a new window. Those are the sort of things you can do. So I know I think she's been playing around with it, because at one point she had, like, her Spotify was one of the tabs. You had her YouTube as one of the tabs. So it's kind of, it allows you, and Chris is starting to play around with it, the ability to to kind of like customize it based on what you think is best for your audience. And I think, let me see if I can show you the one I've done. I've got to go here. Right, we're being meta, getting to see us. So, but as an example, I've added a resources tab. I've added a resources tab where I can it's affiliate links. I've got Chris's business on there. I've got our shop page for, Dealcasters, but I'm going to add other things. And then if you think about it, you could take it a step further, not only have these resources, but then maybe you write an article about some of these different things in there as well. So I think that's one of the things that I think is really neat. You can customize it. I want to say, let me see if it'll show. Recommendations. Since you were talking about it, Chris. So I've gotten 14 subscribers from recommendations, and I have 7 Substacks recommending me, and so it shows you. And so you can go
in there, yeah.
Yeah, and so you can even go in and like write little things about them, like why you recommend them. So I think that's another great feature. There are also ways. I don't know if I've set it up yet. Right, you can allow people to like. It's almost like a referral program. If you get people to sign up for your Substack, you can give them free access depending on how many people that they have brought. And you can kind of see right there's my chat. So if I wanted to see what's going on in my chat, I can do that. And so those are just some of the things that they keep rolling out. One of the new features they've rolled out as well is the ability to schedule in the app. If you wanted to go live on the app, you can schedule it in advance, which I think is actually something Instagram was doing. And so that's, something that you might want to consider as well. You can see here, right? These are some actual, so Jim Acosta, people probably heard of him. He's got 713 live viewers right now on Substack.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
We've got 11, so we're catching up. But but it's still it reminds me of, in some aspects, the early days of Facebook Live, when people actually would see the lives, they would get into the lives. But he's obviously got a bigger, subscriber base, and we're just getting started. So that's where I see some of that possibility. We start to see like our friends, James Hicks, Tanya Smith out here going live. And so when we get a notification, we're like, oh, I'll go check it out because I'm getting an email because I'm a subscriber, because maybe I didn't know they were going live. Right. But I'm maybe more likely to check it out. So
yeah, I got a notification that you went live on Substack, and here we are. We're in it, and so we've got a couple of questions from Barbara and from Doug. So let's really quickly talk about Doug's question here. The tools that we're using for this live, this is kind of a bare bones operation compared to when we do a Dealcasters interview. We're just on StreamYard, and we set up a custom RTMP in StreamYard. We got that from Substack, and so that was our RTMP destination. And our webinar is in StreamYard because it's an on-air feature. So you registered for Doug. You're here on the webinar. So is Barbara, Phil, and others. You've registered for it, and so you're watching it in StreamYard. But we're also broadcasting with RTMP to Substack, and so the Substack subscribers are able to view this as well. So they can learn. Right. So you're kind of making it a special event, right? And then Barbara had the question is if we're doing this simultaneously to LinkedIn and YouTube. The answer is yes and no. We are sending a stream to YouTube unlisted because we want a backup of the live stream on our YouTube channel, so it's going there. But we're not broadcasting live everywhere because we wanted it to be, kind of like the Substackians or whatever we call them, like the people that want to do this, let's do that. Could we have done that and gone to LinkedIn and live on YouTube and Twitch and everywhere else? Sure, we could have done that, but I don't feel like it was really, we don't feel like it was really appropriate to put this content everywhere. We wanted the people that were really interested in doing it involved. And that's kind of the Substack way, really. That's, so Jim and I are still kind of figuring out how we're going to create content that's appropriate for this platform. Right now, I don't think everything that we do is. And so we have to, that's really a tactical approach to places. We don't want to take one piece of content and put it in 28 places where people aren't really, it really isn't appropriate for it.
Right. And we also, this was the first time we've used it. We used this StreamYard webinar on air because we wanted to get people to register for the webinar. So that's kind of how we promoted it outside of Substack. Now in Substack, I created a post where I gave them kind of the option, like, hey, you can register for the webinar, or just, we'll be out here at 7 p.m. Eastern. And if they're subscribing, they were going to see us pop up, anyway. In fact, Steve Worthy joined us. He's one of the, I'll call it the early Substack adopters. So good to see you, Steve. But we're up to 12 people watching live on Substack with really no true promotion. And so that's where I kind of have that excitement, because even when we've gone live on Amazon and going live to Substack at the same time, we're seeing that audience growth that we, with Amazon having some of their changes, we're not seeing the same way. And when you think about the whole repurposing thing, and that's what Chris and I are big about, is I love the fact that you can, you're able to repurpose this live into a blog post, and you can make it content that's worthwhile. You can put links in there to whether it's the people's profiles, their products, if they're an author, whatever, and you're not getting punished for that, right? That's the thing you run into when you're doing things on other platforms like Facebook, like LinkedIn. It's like, oh, you're taking them off our rented land. You can't do that. And so not as many people see it. So I think that's another thing to consider. Is this platform for everybody? Probably not. And that's okay. But you have to decide what makes sense for you. For me personally, if you want to say my, I don't know if I call it a goal, but I want to help those people that maybe were doing video and Facebook groups to say, look, here's a new opportunity for you to kind of, bring your group back to life in a more meaningful way, because it isn't just video. It's also, the written word, audio as well, Chris, like we've talked about with podcasts. You can even embed, sound clips, as far as I know, inside of your stuff. So you've got a variety of multimedia experience. Maybe that's the way to put it. And,
you could be really tactical about it, where other platforms really don't. They only give you so many things to work with, and and who knows if it's going to change, right? And marketers usually ruin everything. So we'll see how that works. Barbara, we do get the download from StreamYard. We record all the ISO videos to, repurpose clips and things like that. We do send an unlisted, we always send an unlisted video to one of our channels just to have a backup. That's just my weird perfectionist squirrel brain. So that's kind of what that is. Rose says, did you promote this on LinkedIn? Trying to remember where I first saw the notice of today's show. So that's a great question, Jim, because I know you used it in a different way. You used this as an event invite.
Yeah,
right?
I did an event, and I also did a newsletter. So it was kind of a twofold. We did the event where we had the link to register for the webinar on air. That was the registration link. We didn't, actually have it go live on LinkedIn. And we also, I went ahead and did a LinkedIn newsletter where I talked about why we were doing this, some of the pros and cons. Same thing, gave people the option to register for that. Because like we talked about it, there's 1,100 or so people that I guess get my newsletter on LinkedIn. Obviously, there's not 1,100 people here today, but that's okay.
They're lurking.
They're lurking.
And so Phil wants to know, is there a cost to have a Substack site?
Phil, unfortunately, there is not.
Phil, if you want to pay for it, just buy somebody a coffee. No, I mean, I think that's That kind of, if I'm reading between the tea leaves, it's it's almost like, God, this seems too good to be true, right? But I mean, I think for Phil especially, and for those of you who don't know Phil Hill, go follow this gentleman. Just a home security expert. A friend of ours for years back in the day when Amazon was just Amazon Live was a gleam in everybody's eye, and we were getting tens of thousands of people on our live streams. Phil Hill was on Dealcasters back in the day, but Phil, I think this is a great platform for you to find. I mean, the other thing too is it's a great way to find other people to be a part of your community and you to be a part of theirs. Right. And you never know when you get more home security nerds out there until you start fishing for them, right, Phil? He's a fisherman.
He is a fisherman. I see what you did there. Okay. Yes. Yeah, but no, that's a great point. I mean, I think obviously part of the way that I think they're making their money is because Stripe is the payment method for people that get subscribers. I think they're probably getting a portion of that that fee. So that I think is what helps keep them in business. And I'm sure that there'll be other ways to do that in the future. But I just think it was easy to get started. The community from that perspective overall, people I feel like have been very helpful in giving people ideas. People will share free content on ways to grow your Substack. I mean, you do have even some people hey, let us know what your Substack's about. Put the link in the notes. And so you may get some new subscribers out of that as well. And, I mean, just, I know, Chris, you and I are alike in this aspect that, Facebook just isn't like a place that we spend a lot of time on. And like, we feel like the people that are joining us today are interested in what we're talking about, where,
that's the key.
Our friend Doc Rock, long ago talked about how he stopped going live on Facebook with the eCam stuff and goes live on YouTube because I guess the friends and family that were on Facebook aren't going to watch his videos, and most other people aren't really out there looking for that type of content on Facebook.
Yeah, and we've gone live a number of times to know that it hasn't really proven to be problematic. Who knows if more people go live on it, if that causes some issues. So I think that's been a problem for some. LinkedIn Live. Listen, as much as we do go live on LinkedIn, there's been problems that you still continue to exist, and it could be just because the traffic. So maybe the traffic as it increases on Substack, things change, but our experience it's been solid. We just have to probably be more tactical in what we do, as opposed to just like taking the same content we're parking everywhere else and sticking it in Substack. Probably not the smartest thing. So we'll have having the ability to take a live stream and make it live there, so people that want to enjoy it. But then after the fact, digging a little bit deeper into the content of the episode, and not just a quick summary, but hey, this is what really impacted us. Elaborate a little bit more on that for those that want to go deeper on a conversation, and then have the opportunity to make comments and that you can respond to. I think that's a lot of what happens is, as podcasters, we take this piece of content and then we just trumpet it out. And there's really, and you put it on all these platforms, and sometimes people are liking and sometimes people are commenting. You're not seeing the comments or whatever. This is a real way to have conversations with people, create that community. Thank you for the kind words here, Barbara. We appreciate it. She says she's been burned a lot in supporting others through Patreon and Buy Me a Coffee. Don't see paying for subscriptions for a while. The content providers would have to prove themselves to me. I mean, hey, listen, you do you, and I don't blame you. Nope. I think a lot of times we've all just been, put into a funnel, and I felt like, came out on the other side a little, a little beat up. It says, didn't see the Substack notes feature included a photo or video ad option.
It does, yes. You can add that stuff to your note if you're creating the note. And so that's what one of the other nice little features. Like I was able to take the thumbnail Chris created and make that part of the note that I did to let people on Substack know that we were going to have this. So that's definitely something that they have done as well. And so, well, thank you, Rose. We appreciate
Thanks,
that.
Rose.
Yeah. So I think, you know, I was telling, in fact, I was telling my friend Tim Sohn, Tim has a very focused audience, perspectives on cancer. And I think this would be a good place for him to, because not only could he have his show here, but he can be writing articles about some of the things that go on in that community, or have, right, you can have guest, I guess we'll call them guest bloggers, right, that they can share stuff as well. So I think it really,
I didn't know about that. Yeah, I guess they're just submitting content to you, and you're just inserting. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Use their byline or whatever. So there's definitely people that talk about that, right? The whole cross promotion between stackers, or whatever they're called. I don't know. Maybe Steve Worthy has a name for him if he's still on. But
Steve Worthians.
Yes.
So Phil wants to know: do people go to Substack and search for interest or tribe to join?
I would say it's probably more interest, but you can, if you know someone's name, you can search by name, you can search by their blog, and then like I was showing earlier, they do have topics. So like if I click on home and I look at technology, we'll share this again, Chris, if you want. I guess I got to go to the other look, right? And so if it will warm up here.
Are you able to are you on a Chrome tab?
I am.
Yeah, you might want to drag or reshare it. Reshare the Chrome tab and then drag the edge to make it larger.
Okay, let me do that. That's why Chris keeps me out of trouble. All right, so I'm gonna share.
Those of us who have readers that can't read.
All right, so then I gotta. You want me to make it small, or let me see this?
Well, share it first, and then you resize it on the screen.
Oh, I gotcha. All right.
You can tell we're live, right, folks?
That's right.
Yeah, get the bottom corner on your screen and kind of drag it down and to the right. There you go. You'll see how it adjusts.
Yeah.
There you go.
There we go. So you can see here as an example, this is under technology. This guy, Michael Spencer, has got a little note here about how are people really using generative AI. So here you got some conversations going on about AI.
Just for type in home security.
Okay, there we go.
I mean, this question came from Phil, so let's do it.
Security. Look at that, America's original Homeland Security.
Homeland Security is different than home security.
So there we got something about
somebody's posting news articles about that.
Yeah.
So this is the other thing too, Phil, is if you don't find stuff, that means it's an opportunity to create stuff too. So
if we go to post, here's some people's posts, right? So you can see algorithmically it's using the word. So to me it says there's an opportunity for you here, Phil, because I'm not seeing a lot specific to that, but especially if you're writing about the technology of it. And then if we go back to home, you can kind of see, right? You got sports, business, finance, food and drink. So there's quite a few different ones. And if you become really popular, believe it or not, you can get ranked in a category. Not anything I'm worried about, but so theoretically, like if we go to we'll go to fashion and beauty. Let's just see. So I don't know if that means that these are the top people in fashion and beauty. So let's see what happens. We're going to hit Big Salad. I don't know what's going to happen here, Chris. She's got 181,000 subscribers.
That was risky.
Talking about Sal. Oh, I got to share this tab instead. So she's got, and it's asking me if I want to subscribe. So that's I think those are ones that are related to the actual topic that we're looking at.
We have the Shan Man joining us from Substack. What's up, Shannon?
Oh, wow. Yes, he's got a great Substack. I'm subscribed to him. In fact, let's go
I'm
find
not.
it.
Let's find it and let's do him. The other thing too is I want to make mention to this. This is that your stats their analytics are decent. Like, and I was shocked at how many people of our podcast that we sent out that we did live last week. How many views? Podcast downloads so like when you integrate your podcast, you put your RSS feed from your audio podcast, you put that in Substack. So when you do release an audio podcast, it gets posted on your Substack. If you don't want it posted, you don't have to. So you have control over that. And if you want it to go to all followers, or maybe you want to create a podcast that's just for your Substack followers, you can do that as well. Using an RSS feed. Gives you open rates on your emails, your watch time on your videos. It tells you your traffic sources, if it's coming from email, if it's coming from your Substack app, if it's direct, how many of the openers clicked a link. So there's really good analytics, I found. And
see, here's another example. Gosh, I should have brought yours up earlier, Shannon, but see how he's got his Instagram. And I'm going to share the tab instead so you kind of see, it's a restricted profile because I'm not logged in. Not because of things that Shannon puts on there. I think Facebook, will it open up Facebook? Yeah, so this is an example of where in his site on Substack, he's added these tabs in. Yep. So now we'll go back to his site on Substack.
Nice.
My mouse is being a little bit uncooperative. So hold on a second.
And Shannon also let us know on Substack that he underlined the solid analytics, and he gets way more downloads for his podcasts of the articles that he writes as well.
Nice. Yeah, and I like how he did the dark background. I'm assuming that's a way you're able to do that in the setup, but it's
Yeah, but we got to go dark with ours so that it matches the color of my heart.
Of course, even that title has me intrigued. I once dragged a keg up a mountain at 2 a.m.
See, he knows what he's doing. That's
yes.
We only surround ourselves with people that know what they're doing. And Shanman is definitely one of them. I didn't even know, so I gotta go follow him. And so this is the other thing that we'll do is. What we'll do is recommend this Substack on our Substack, right?
Yes.
And so that immediately kind of grows your community as well, because this is definitely somebody that we would consider as part of
this is under his. See, now here's an example we were talking about. So he's got this leaderboard. If you do the actual, you can refer it, right? If you get him 25 referrals, you get a 6-month complimentary thing, and it kind of shows you, like, I haven't referred anybody yet, so that's my fault. And he's got it built in, right? You can put it out on Twitter. I wonder too, though, Shaman, if they're going to add Blue Sky, because I know there's a lot of people that I think are starting to use that. But I love the look of your site, Shannon. Great job. Wouldn't expect anything less from a great American.
Yeah, Barbara, it does look great. It looks a lot greater than ours. So we'll freely admit
that's right,
for sure. We're thanks for making us look bad, Shannon. No, he's he's a friend, so I can say that. He says it's a feature within Substack, but guys like us have dark souls and dark backgrounds. So yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So I mean, I just think this is we're constantly learning new things, and so that's why I would encourage people, right, subscribe to some of the folks that are watching today. Even with the notes, I will share notes of like other people I'm following on Substack that are giving advice on how to grow your Substack or things of that nature. So, going live is just one of the many things that I see as an advantage, and I would definitely. If you got questions, reach out. Happy to help people get started with it. I think the biggest challenge initially, as Chris knows, is you got to get the subscribers to be able to go live. So that's where using other social media platforms and telling people like, hey, come follow me on Substack is probably one way to do it. And you're at least you're going to have that email list. Shannon, have you found that you're getting the email? Does that help you as far as connecting with your community? Since I know you've been on here for a little bit, hopefully he'll answer.
As we wait on his reply, I'm going to make sure that we've covered all the questions from the webinar, folks. And yeah, I think for us, this is still early in our journey, and we've got a lot to learn. But I'm glad we did this because I'd like to look like a year from now and kind of see where this is. And I always love to learn new things, but I'm bullish on this platform because it's going to force us as creators, Jim, like we had mentioned earlier, to put frameworks on our content. And for those that really want our content, even if it's $5, even if it's, right, like whatever, is to start putting value to this. And if we know that we've got X amount of people that are paying X amount of money, it's going to force us to really create that value as well, even more than we already are, which is going to make us better, which is what we want. It's going to make us all better at that. And then, we can, have a little, margarita money or whatever, on the side, as opposed to just doing stuff just because, we can start paying for things like, StreamYard and Ecamm and your podcast host, that you use.
Right. So he did say, I connect with them and they comment. It draws in a deeper connection with them. I'm still experimenting, but I'm enjoyed learning. I'm pushing people from IG, Threads, and Facebook. And of course, Chris, who doesn't love margarita money?
I was going to say Mountain Dew money, but hey, it's for Substack we can have margaritas. It's something special for the Substack groups.
Right.
If we charge, where's the pay portal? Phil Hill wants to know.
Yeah, so Phil, it's linked in with Stripe, and so in the
don't say LinkedIn. Substack links with
Stripe. There you go. Yes, thank you, Chris. So once you go into your back end, you can say, hey, I want to have paid subscribers, and it'll have you link with Stripe as the payment portal. So pretty easy to do. Most people probably already have Stripe accounts, so I found it was really, really easy.
So how does it work? So I'm gonna go ahead and ask a dumb question so that nobody else has to feel dumb because I'm dumb. No, I'm just so. When you integrate it with Stripe, like where does the haircut come, right? So if somebody, let's just say, Jim, you pay $5 to subscribe to my Substack, and you get a certain thing for that $5 a month. Right. Yeah. How much goes into my pocket of that $5?
I want to say I'd have to look because I got my first payment. It's a little bit of a haircut. It's a few percentage points. Okay. But it comes out before it hits your account. So
okay, so I got it. Right. So for instance, like if PayPal, for instance, takes what, I think 2-3%, for that. So it's something like that, except whatever Stripe charges. I need to investigate with that because that's something, and like 2-3%, maybe raise your rates a little bit if you don't like, create more valuable content. I'm excited. I got to go find Shannon Hernandez's stack right now. So I'm gonna. I didn't know Shannon. I didn't know, man. I didn't know. I follow you everywhere. Somehow I didn't know it. I guess I'm just too busy to understand, or to find it. But I'm definitely gonna find that.
Or I'll you know what, Chris, I'll give you the link so I get and I'll put it. I'm going to put it in the the text too.
You get
so
some. You get the spiff.
Follow Shannon,
oh, there
I get the spiff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's at Shannon Hernandez. I got it.
Yeah. Well, I gave you the link too if you want to go to his link.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good.
Is there a Dealcasters affiliate link? Oh, I don't think we've done that yet.
I don't know if there is one. So we're learning as we go on this, Phil. Like I would guess that there is. but like
we just haven't probably set it up yet. It's one of those things you go in.
It's hard to take a percentage on what somebody else charges if you're Substack, right? So,
well, I think what he means, it's more about if people refer them, and once we start actually having a paid subscription, that they would get a free paid subscription for the Dealcasters Substack. That's really what that's about. Not you're giving people that are like your super refers free access to your paid content for a period of time. So, like as an example, if I refer 3 people to Shannon, I get a month complimentary of his paid platform.
Got it. So what if I'm more questions coming from me? Can I raise my hand?
Yes, you can.
Should I type it in the chat?
No.
So let's say like we create specific content that's for people that pay $8 a month.
Yes.
Okay. But we have a friend, a member of our circle or whatever, or they're just nice people, and we like the person that delivers my mail. I love that person. She's awesome, right? So I want to give her that 8-month. Can I do that? Can I just add her to that that tier, that $8 a month, and she doesn't have to pay it? I think
you can gift people. Yes, I think you can do complimentary subscriptions for people. Yeah.
And maybe like that's another idea, right? Is to go live and say, hey, we're giving away 6-month tier 1 subscriptions to our Substack where you get you know, and do giveaways. I don't know.
Right.
I don't even know if we can even do that, but I think that would be kind of cool.
I don't think there's anything that I'm aware of that prevents you. That's the other thing, right there. Yes, there are rules, but there's nothing that says you can't do it. Because if you think about it, it's your site, it's your live. It's not like, I mean, I think I've added this, and if not, we'll make sure. Like, we'll want to make sure that we've added Substack to our list of places that we put links for Amazon, because then they'd say, hey, you're putting links where you're haven't put stuff like that.
Yeah, we don't want to get in trouble with them.
But there's, they can't prevent us from getting email addresses because we're getting it from Substack, not from Amazon.
Right.
So, I think, and I think this is a great place for people that are doing affiliate marketing to share their stuff and, maybe make a couple extra bucks as well if they.
Yeah. And that just reminds me, I got to go put the disclaimer at the bottom of the thing that I just posted because it has some affiliate links in it. So, for those of you who are doing, putting links into your content that sends people to Amazon, you got to let them know that that link is sending them to Amazon first and foremost. And then at the bottom, you got to give that disclaimer. And generally, you can copy it from our YouTube channel if you want to go. But it basically says this includes this post includes affiliate links, I make a small amount of money for something that you eventually purchase at no extra cost to you. And so that basically just kind of lets everybody know that. And it's I probably slaughtered that. I should memorize that, but I just copy and paste it. But yeah, go to our YouTube channel, and every single one of our videos has that at the bottom. Just to make sure that we're covered from Amazon affiliate perspective. But I need to go back into my Substack and adjust that.
There you go.
We'll do that. And Shannon loves his male person as well. Raises his hand, gives us a smiley face. So, all right, Jim, did we cover everything? I think everybody's out of questions.
I think we did for today. Yes. So thank you, folks. And we'll actually be back tomorrow, right, Chris?
Yeah, we're going live tomorrow with Vinny Potestivo, and we're going to be. It's a lot about personal branding, and this guy knows a lot about it. A lot about this. So it's revealing your visibility blueprint. And he's also known as LinkedVin. So there's a lot of LinkedIn special secrets that he's going to share over there. So you're welcome, Barbara. Thank you for sticking around and for participating in this. And Phil and Rose and, there's
James, we had Jim Banks, Steve Worthy,
Doug Lehman.
In layman's terms.
Always good to break it down in layman's terms.
That's right.
All right, Jim, sign us off, my friend.
All right. Thanks, everyone. And Catch you tomorrow if you'd like. Is it 4 Eastern tomorrow?
That sounds
5?
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
4 Eastern.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, so many time zones, so little time. But yeah, and we'll be live on Substack as well with the Dealcasters as we multi-stream across the world. So thanks everyone, and we'll see you next time.